Hi, I'm Jonathan Block. In this video, I'll be making an ambient Kalimba soundscape using a whole bunch of effects apps in AUM on the iPad Pro. The signal chain is a Hokema B9 Kalimba. That goes to an Technica AT2020 microphone. The output from the microphone goes into a universal audio Volt 276 interface that communicates back and forth with the iPad Pro. I'll be doing all this in AUM. Let me throw up the screenshot of that now and I'll walk through all the different slots I have. The first slot is really for the basis of the soundscape, a couple of different sounds. Then in slot 2, I have that just for SpaceFields, so I'll be creating a SpaceFields soundscape in the background as well. And then the output from those two slots goes into the third slot, which is a Reverb and Spatializer just to widen the stereo field, given that the input for this is just the mono microphone. So let me first walk through all the different effects and how I'm going to use those, then we'll get into the jam. The thing I have to keep in mind though is I'm using the same microphone to talk as well as to play, so I'm going to have to turn effects on and off as I'm demonstrating the sounds or my voice is going to kind of go nuts. So let's see if we can get through it that way. First, let's do the clean Kalimba sound with no effects. I'm using a Hokema B9 Kalimba, so this is a 9 key or tine Kalimba. It comes stock from the factory, tuned to A minor. The fourth tine from the left, I have retuned down from A to G. The reason I did that is, well, G's still in the key of A minor, but there's already an A in the same octave, and I did not feel the need to have two of those, so we gain an extra note. So here is the clean sound, no effects. So the first effect, I'm not going to play this, but we'll keep it on, is a little bit of compression from Bleass. Actually, the compressor was already on, so you heard it with the compressor. This is just a basic kind of transparent compressor setting. I use this for bass, and I really kind of just use it for everything. So we've got that on now. Let's move to the second sound. Let me open this first before I enable it. So the other desert cities, I tweaked a patch in here. So what it does is it creates what sounds like chimes, but I have it really low in the background so it's not overpowering at all. I do find with effects apps, the mix knob is definitely your friend. A lot of times you only need just a little bit of the effect, and if you turn it on and off, you can hear it be there or not. Even if some of it you may be like, oh, it should be stronger, then you end up with soup because you do that with all the effects. So I always start with the mix knob pretty low and I just add it in. Often have to tweak it later with other effects apps, but I never really want to lose the clean sound. I want that in there somehow. So here's other desert cities. So you can hear that's really low in the background. Next, I've got Velvet Machine. I'm using this. This is a preset called Cascades. The only thing I did with this preset is, again, lower the mix knob. So I've got about 20% of this. Just sounds like it adds a kind of little synth pad in the background. So let's hear this. Again, just in the background, but when I'm turning it off, you can definitely hear that it's there. All right, let me turn on Other Desert Cities and Velvet Machine, and let's hear what they sound like together. Let's turn that off. I'll just leave the compressor on. What I'd like to do now is go over to the output slot. So we've got audio reverb Let me open that up first. I'm using, there's hundreds of presets here. You really don't need to create anything from scratch. Find a preset and tweak it. That's what I did. So this is the reverb sound I'll be using. It's not very dramatic. In a sense, it's just meant to, almost like a little bit of reverb on the full mix, because the apps that I'm using, certainly Velvet Machine, and even other Desert Cities, it's adding its own space. So just kind of slapping a huge reverb on the end of the chain is just going to make it even more bigger, but you really take a hit on the definition. So again, start low on the mix and just add into taste. And finally, Spatializer. Same setting I use all the time. I've created my own patch in here that's more, it's very surround, and but again, kind of dialing it back so it's not overpowering. So let me, what I'm going to do is I'll play a few notes without it, then I'll turn it on so you can hear the difference, and then I'll turn on the reverb too so you can hear everything. Okay, now I'm going to turn on everything in slot 1. So I'll turn on other Desert Cities and Velvet Machine, have audio reverb on, and Spatializer so you can hear everything. So let me enable SpaceFields and we'll hear what we can get out of that. So I can now turn off that slot, and my voice isn't going to add. Again, I turned it off anyway, so it doesn't matter because I was doing it manually. But now you can just have that going on in the background. As you hear, it's really low in the distance, so to speak. Let me re-enable those sounds on the first slot, Other Desert Cities and Velvet Machine. You can hear how that sounds over this. All right. That's a walkthrough of all the different sounds. It's going to it'll sound a little different during the jam. The only reason I say that is because I was intentionally inputting notes into SpaceFields, but when I'm doing the jam, I'm just going to hit it at one point, and whatever I'm playing will kind of be the loop, and then I'll turn it off after probably 20 seconds or so, and then that'll just kind of create something in the background that'll just fill in some spaces. But again, as you can hear, it's really, really spacious and really low in the mix. So for the jam, it's just going to be a quick improv. I'll probably play a few lines here and there from tracks that I've written for the Kalimba. It's really about the additional sounds you can get out of these iPad apps. The chimes from Other Desert Cities, that synth pad from Velvet Machine, and then the soundscape you hear in the background here from SpaceFields. So I'm not going to come back after the jam, so I'll just say it right now. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and good luck with your own music.